Good evening. How are you?
Good evening.
Hi. How are you?
Same old, same old. How are you?
I'm doing well. Pandora and Catherine, do you guys know each other?
No.
Oh, well, Pandora, this is Catherine. Catherine, this is Pandora.
Hi.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Not too bad.
Did you go to Sage?
Yeah. I'm just
Okay.
in lower speeds.
Oh, I'm online. I was online the whole time anyway, so.
Me too. Well, me too.
Oh, you were.
So,
Oh, okay.
but I don't think we were in the same classes.
Maybe not.
I had to do it. I had to think about it because I thought maybe you guys were in the same theory class, but you both attended
No.
live, so you would know each other. What theory class did you take, Pandora? Do you remember when you started?
Yours?
Right, but do you remember what the date was?
Yours? Theory would have been, hang on.
I think, what about you, Catherine? Do you remember?
I started theory October of 15, so the last quarter of 2015.
Then you're just ahead of me because I started Sage in October of 16 and I didn't have theory then because I hadn't used my machine until like January. So I think I started theory in January of 16.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I knew it was kind of around the same time, but I couldn't remember if you guys had the same theory, the same theory time.
Right.
So, after a while it's like,
Yeah.
I remember from a long time ago and then the most recent, but I knew you guys were around the same time, so it's hard to remember.
Yeah.
So, all right.
I get it.
Yes. All right, we'll go ahead and get started. Here we go. Because, being, under, after, here, good, make, most, many, much, those, way, see, world, no, day, never, did, new, down, even, years, country, long, business, right, get, life, just, take, where, work, things, part, through, while, last, might, am, back, old, own, three, against, go, think, came, matter, public, without, also, days, today, yet, don't, same, far, home, each, thought, put, present, woman, peace, going, nothing, money, between, per, once, fact, half, year, still, give, yours, to, power, government, found, few, possible, does, food, house, less, owe, best, case, line, place, says, since, ever, himself. Okay. Now, I've got some frequently used phrases, but they're not all phrases that you can, write as a phrase. Here we go. Yes, sir, of the, in the. How far? in this did you see? No, sir, did you on the? Do you know that they were? To the I did, that is. I have, you had, in a. I was, it was, you were. Was there, I didn't, to see. When you, from the, he was. For the, saw the, where was. At that time, and the, I am. And you, at any, having to. You say, were you, how long? That was it, there was. What did, that you, at all? I don't know, I do, at the. To you, with the, at the time. It is, you did, is that right? Didn't you, how many, what was? Okay, there's more, but I'm going to stop there. Moving on. We're going to move on to consonant compounds. All right, here we go. Ready? The trash was bleached when it was crushed. He used a ratchet on the switch. The blemished part was varnished. She curbed her temper over the blemish. I wish I didn't have this rash. I will teach you to reach the breach. They were scorched when they were beached. If you rush, you will miss the crush. They crashed because they were rushed. A crutch was used by the witch. Attach the hutch to the kitchen. I reached for the leash. Don't switch horses in midstream. His garb made him appear smashed. You can fish for fresh shrimp. She was known as a rich bitch. The nurse washed the slashed flesh. Engage the clutch and the gears will mesh. He was disturbed over the washed carburetor. They flashed the signal and the plane crashed. All right, how was that? Now I'm going to give you some, these are just words. You're going to hear initial BL, BD, final NT, final ND, final RT, final RS, final RM, final RN, okay? And that's final BL, final BD. I should have said that. Here we go. Bubble, robbed. Trouble, stabbed. Double, rubbed. Able, grabbed. Gobble, ribbed. Fable, tabbed. Table, nabbed. Stable, sobbed. Sable, cubed. Dribble, mobbed. Wobble, blabbed. Hobble, lobbed. Bent, bend. Rent, rend. Meant, mend. Lent, lend. Pant, mind. Dent, find. Hint, rind. Want, wand. Lint, end. Scent, sand. jaunt, signed, haunt, fend, hurt, hearse, flirt, course, cart, purse, mart, nurse, pert, parse, shirt, farce, dart, terse, dirt, curse, wart, force, sort, worse, smart, fierce, chart, sparse, arm, iron, charm, learn, farm, fern, warm, turn, berm, spurn, norm, corn, firm, darn, harm, warn, term, stern, worm, thorn, sperm, burn, swarm, yarn. All right. Now I've got some consonant compounds, but they're doublets, so they're 2 words. All right, here we go. Brown stone, blueprint, fruit fly, free trade, broad grin, playground, grapefruit, gravestone, test drive, crisscross, prose style, chair lift, bright flame, blindfold, screw driver, chain store, drag strip, flax cloth, transplant, fresh fruit, flight plan, blunt point, sweat band, split ends, treble clef, bridegroom, flip flop, cream cheese, split ends, pitch black, and soft touch. All right, now this is going to be sentences that focus on words that have final X as opposed to final cushion that you have to flag, and then final K words that are plural that you have to come back for final Z, okay? So it's kind of a little bit of everything. And I'm going to give you some of these. They have just some words listed, and then I'm going to give you the sentences, okay? So we have tax, tax, fax, faction, dejection, conviction, tracks, traction, prediction, act, action, reaction, fix, fiction, affection, sex, section, eviction, dejection, and then we have lacks, like he lacks the opportunities, racks, put them on the racks, and then sacks, put them in the sacks. All right, so here are your sentences. Some of those are kind of hard to know what word it is if you don't hear it in a sentence. The subtraction is wrong. Go on with the eviction. The prediction came true. Put down the age and sex. What is the attraction? They're hanging on racks. Abduction was limited. Buy several sacks. Follow his tracks. He has good diction. Which faction is it? Record his reaction. I've stacks of work. The action was fair. The case is complex. She called it seduction. Noise is a distraction. Please fix the car. He is in section 2. It was a sex-related case. Run for election. Whose axe was it? He's in a real fix. Use neck traction. It is pure fiction. She loves auctions. It's a strange reaction. Linen is made from flax. Measure the adduction. Friction causes heat. It lacks attraction. Use chicken backs. It is an infection. He built a triplex. Use a suction pump. Please fix the sink. Use circumspection. Get 2 6-packs. The books are in stacks. The tracks need repair. Watch your inflection. Use carpet tacks. Production is down. Put down that axe. All right, that's a good one. That's one of my favorite ones, I think. All right, so we're going to do just a couple more and then move into our literary. Okay. All right. Now I've got some names and ages. I'm going to spell their last name and give you their age, okay? Here we go. Damian Malt, Mault, 59. Chris Addison, Addison, 28. Jez Williams, Williams, 68. Jimmy Goodwin, Goodwin, 27. Daniela Adamson, Adamson, 42. Jonathan Cassidy, Cassidy, 53. Danny Weber, Webber, 21. James Charles Polani, Polany, 11. Kathy Welbeck, Welbeck, 79. Jude Thaw, Thaw, 92. Darren Campbell, Campbell, 49. Judy Finnegan, Finnigan, 55. Carl Pilkington, Pilkington, 28. Lee Dixon, Dixon, 100. Lang Rigby, Ragby, 7. Donald Arden, Arden, 85. DJ Semtex, Semtex, 15. Davy Jones, Jones, 63. David Lloyd George, George, 79. It's neat to see some of these names, like some of the old-fashioned names are coming back in. It's just kind of neat to see, you know. You're seeing a lot of that now. All right. I'm going to give you, well, I think we're doing okay on time. Yeah, we're at 5:25. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Let's move on to our literary and jury charge. I don't want to give you too many. Okay, so I have another fun little poem, Pandora's favorite. It's not as long though, I have to say. This is called The Double-Tailed Dog. Let me just date this, and it's not nearly as long as the other one. All right. Here we go. I'll start at 120 and work my way to 140, okay? Here we go. Would you like to buy a dog with a tail at either end? He is quite the strangest dog there is in town, though he's not too good at knowing just exactly where he's going. He is very, very good at sitting down. He doesn't have a place to put a collar, and I'll admit it's rather hard to lead him, and he cannot hear you call, for he has no ears at all. But it doesn't cost a single cent to feed him. He cannot bite. He'll never bark or growl. Just scratch him on his tails. He'll find it pleasing. But you'll have to take him out for twice as many walks. And I'll bet that you can quickly guess the reason. That's it. And it's kind of funny because I have to show you this picture. It shows a picture of a dog with, two tails. It reminds me of that. Remember that cartoon in the 90s? It was called Cat Dog. And one end of it was an animal. And one end was a cat face and the other end was a dog face. It was on Nickelodeon. And it was so, it was just disturbing. Because the cat would get a hairball and he didn't want the hairball, so he would, push it through and it would come out the dog's mouth and the dog would get mad, and it was just weird. My kids thought it was so funny, but that's what it reminded me of, Cat Dog. And then they would sing that song, cat dog. What would the world do without the cat dog? I don't know. It was just really weird thing. So anyways, okay. So I'm going to give you guys, this is like opening statements. So it's kind of jury charge / literary because they're talking about the case. Okay, so I'm going to start this at 120, but I'll work my way to 160. And this is that case, that really famous case in Wisconsin. But I did change the names on these just so I want you guys to be able to, this case is so big. I mean, the transcript's like this thick, and I want you guys to be able to, hear different names and not get used to writing the same names. So I changed the names. Okay. All right, here we go. You are going to hear that the crime lab came to process this scene, that arson investigators came to process the scene. They recovered, at least on that first day, that is Tuesday, the 8th, as many of the bones that they could recover from this obvious destructive area, this burn area, and the evidence will show how the bones were recovered and transported for identification and examination. You are going to hear that the officers, remember, this is on a Tuesday. They had already gotten there on the previous Saturday. The officers weren't able to recover or even examine this area. None of the police officers themselves humans, or with the assistance of canines, cadaver dogs, or bloodhounds, or any kind of search dogs, were not able to inspect this particular area because of a German shepherd that was vicious, which was guarding that particular area or that particular burn area. This is a photo that just assists you and explains why it took until Tuesday to find these human remains in that area. All right, we will move a little bit more quickly into the following, or into the balance of that week. The recovery of those bones, you will hear, were very, very small in size. They were also very degraded. They were charred, but they were all examined by a forensic anthropologist. We will talk about we will talk about that a little bit later in the case. But what you need to know on Wednesday is that they were able to say that they are human bones and that they are from an adult female. The officers obviously, at this point, believe that this is the site of the mutilation and the disposal of Rachel Ramsey. Later on the next day, on Thursday, this burn area, this is a little computer-generated image of the burn area where the officers were able to further excavate and recover all the rest of the bones that were found in that area. And let me just take a moment to tell you about these computer-generated images that you are going to see. There is a gentleman by the name of Ray Austin. He is an employee with the Indiana State Patrol. Ray Austin was at the scene for at least 7 of the days that led up to or included the processing of the scene. And Mr. Austin, you are going to hear evidence that he took at least 4,100 measurements and later created not only still images of the exterior of the property, exterior of Mr. Mack's garage, trailer, the burn area, the Jackie and Martin areas, but also some of the interiors as well, because you are not going to be able to go out there, because you are not going to be able to do a scene visit. Mr. Austin created for you kind of a tour. Many of you might be familiar with at least some kind of computers, virtual tours, that you're able to kind of tour the area and get kind of a description of the land, if you will. And you will hear how accurate the depictions are. You are going to see it. You are going to see the virtual tour so that you get a better flavor or feel for where one item might be in relation to another, all right? So we also have for you these computer-generated images that you will see. Now, you heard about Cheryl Combs. You heard about her doing some DNA work in this case. Now, you are going to hear that Ms. Combs received from law enforcement 180 items of evidence where officers asked that a DNA profile be developed. You are going to hear that that is the largest submission of evidence ever at the Indiana State Crime Lab, and that the amount of DNA work in this case was absolutely overwhelming. Ms. Combs, and although not as important in this case, will still tell you about all of the profiles that she was able to develop. She will tell you what DNA is, and it's a genetic fingerprint, and how you can make matches and all of those kind of things. All right? With that having been said, though, you are going to hear that one of the bones that was recovered in the pit still had some tissue on it. So it had some muscle tissue on the bone. It wasn't completely burned. It wasn't completely degraded. This allowed Ms. Combs to develop a DNA profile and, in fact, positively match this leg bone to the sample, to the exemplar, to the standard of Rachel Ramsey. So after that, the bone is examined, and after a DNA profile is established, there isn't any more question as to who this female skeleton is, this mutilated, fragmentary skeleton belongs to, and that is, with 100% certainty, Rachel Ramsey. So the investigative timeline, that is the first 8 or 10 days of this case, includes, these aren't going to help you because we have stuff on the bottom. So you are going to have to look forward. Again, I apologize for that. That will be fixed at the break. But on the 31st of October, Rachel Ramsey is killed. You are going to hear about the timeline of October 31st. You are going to hear that at 8:12 in the morning on the 31st, Daniel Mack lures or calls the Auto Trader magazine, and Rachel Ramsey is asked to come out to the scene. You are also going to hear she'd been there 5 times before, but always with the name of Daniel Mack. At least I think that's what the evidence is going to show. But Mr. Mack used a different name, which was L. Wright, to get her to come out on that afternoon. Oh, man, that's that famous case in Wisconsin. You know, I changed it to Indiana, but just so you guys could get different locations. All right. We'll go ahead and move on. How are we doing on time? Oh, good. We're doing good. Okay, I'm going to give you just a little bit of actual jury charge, okay? And then we'll go into Q&A. Here we go. Prosecutions for conspiracy present difficulties and temptations familiar to anyone with experience as a federal prosecutor. The difficulties derive from the rules governing the evidence admissible against some, but not all, defendants in a criminal case. The temptations derive from the advantages of prosecuting in one trial 2 or more persons collaborating in a criminal enterprise. One of the most recurring of the difficulties pertains to incriminating declarations by one or more of the defendants that are not admissible against others. The dilemma is usually resolved by admitting such evidence against the declarant, but cautioning the jury against its use in determining the guilt of the others. The fact of the matter is that too often such admonition against misuse is intrinsically ineffective, in that the effect of such a non-admissible declaration cannot be wiped from the brains of the jurors. The admonition, therefore, becomes a futile collocation of words and fails of its purpose as a legal protection to defendants against whom such a declaration should not tell, while enforcing the rule of admitting the declaration solely against a declarant and admonishing the jury not to consider it against other defendants, Judge Hand, in a series of cases, has recognized the psychological feat that this solution of the dilemma demands of juries. He thus stated the problem, quote, in effect, however, the rule probably furthers, rather than impedes, the search for truth, and this perhaps excuses the device, which satisfies form while it violates substance. That is the recommendation to the jury of a mental gymnastics or gymnastic, which is beyond not only their powers, but anybody else's. Okay, so there's more, but I'm going to stop there. We'll finish that tomorrow. Okay. All right. Q&A. Let's do some Q&A. All right. So we'll start off with a little bit easier transcript, and then we'll work our way into a harder one, okay? So I'm going to start at 120. I'll work my way to 160. And this is defense questioning. Here we go. Did you see the vehicle in which became involved in the accident with Iris's vehicle at any time before the accident happened? Yes, I did. Where were you when you first saw it? We were in the number 2 lane. Can you describe the traffic conditions at that time? No, I don't. And where was the other vehicle? It was in the number 1 lane. Was there a lot of traffic out that night? I can't recall. Was it light or dark or dusk at the time of the accident? It was in between light and dark. It was barely starting to get dark. When you first saw the other vehicle, what kind of vehicle did you see? It was a Jeep, a red Jeep. Did you notice who was occupying the vehicle? Several people. How many were in the front part of it? I can't recall seeing how many numbers were in there. Do you know how many were in the rear? No, I can't. Was anything said between you and Iris at the time, at any time, between your first seeing that vehicle and the time of the accident? No. Was the car equipped with a radio? Her car? Uh-huh. Yes. Was it on? No, it wasn't. Were you engaged in conversation? Yes. Do you recall what you were talking about? About my brother. Did Iris, was she interested in your brother? I don't know. Between the time that you first saw the Jeep and the time of the accident, can you tell me how far you traveled? No, I can't. From the time that you first saw the red vehicle or the Jeep and the time of the accident, did Iris change from the number 2 lane to any other lane of traffic? Yes. What did she first do? She went from the number 2 lane to the number 1 lane. And with respect to the Jeep, when she went to the number 1 lane, was the Jeep still in the number 1 lane? No, they were in the number 2 lane. Did they move in the number 2 lane before she moved to the number 1 lane? Yes. Did they move to the number 2 lane in front of your vehicle or in the rear of your vehicle? In the rear. Then how much time elapsed between the time that they moved into the number 2 lane behind your vehicle and the time that she changed to the number 1 lane? I can't recall what was the time. I can't. How about in distance? I don't know. And then is it fair to say that you traveled in the number 1 lane for a period of time? I can't recall. Okay, so she successfully changed to the number 1 lane. Did she not? Yes. Do you remember if she activated her turn signal before doing so? Yes. Did you continue in the number 1 lane until such time as the accident occurred? No. Okay, did she change from the number 1 lane from the time that she first got into the number 1 lane and until the accident occurred? She moved from when we were driving in the number 1 lane, she moved to the number 2 lane. Can you estimate the period of time that elapsed between the time that you first got in the number 1 lane until she moved in the number 2 lane? No, I can't. Can you estimate the distance? No, I can't. When she moved back to the number 2 lane, where was the Jeep? It was in the number 1 lane. It moved back? Yes, to the number 1 lane. When she moved in the number 2 lane and the Jeep was in the number 1 lane, was it in front of your vehicle or behind your vehicle? It was behind her vehicle. By the time she moved back to the number 2 lane and you made eye contact with any of the occupants, had you made contact with the other vehicle? No, me personally, no, I didn't. Do you know if Iris did? No, because we were having our own conversation. Did anybody wave to you from the other vehicle? No. Did anyone in your vehicle wave to anyone in the other vehicle? No. Did Iris change from the number 2 lane to anything else after she got into the number 2 lane? No. And did the accident occur in the number 2 lane? Yes. Okay. Did you see at any point in time, did you have the impression that you were about to become involved in a traffic accident? No. Did you see the accident occur? When I was talking to her, we were having a regular conversation, and I happened to glance towards her side, and that's when I saw the Jeep, like towards the rear, left rear, just cram her from the left rear side. You were turned to talk to her? I was, yes. I was talking to her, and I glanced, and that's when the Jeep was like right next to her car. And the Jeep was in the number 1 lane at the time? Yes. And did you see it come in contact with your vehicle? Yes. What portion of the Jeep came in contact with what portion of your vehicle? The Jeep is right in the front, like the front part of his Jeep, and it was towards her side of the left rear side. Did you feel anything when the first impact occurred? It felt like a jolt, like a big jolt. A jolt. Did you have your seatbelt on? Yes, I did. Okay. At the time, did you feel the sensation of the seatbelt pulling against your body? Against my neck. And that's a yes against your neck? Yes. All right, so let's switch transcripts. We're doing on time. Good. You doing okay?
My hands are moving.
Good.
Come, let's go. Let's go.
That's awesome.
I hate to look at my notes, but they're moving.
Hey, no, that's good. You need to be in this class now. That other class is now like your trail class. Okay.
What I need to do is have this class every day, Jill. Every day.
I know. I hear
So, how much for private lessons?
Oh man. Call Robert.
Robert. I can't get a hold of Robert.
Oh.
Last time I texted him, I'm just getting on a plane.
Oh, yeah, he is a very busy person, I have to say.
Yeah.
Very, very busy. All right. We're going to go ahead and now this is a different transcript, but it's a little bit, it's about this lady that got hit by a car. So it's not real difficult, but we're going to start this one at 160. Okay. I just hit 160 in the last one. Okay. So now we're going to start with this one at 160. And then I've got a little bit of a harder transcript that we'll go into. Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm so glad you're here, Pandora. Finally. All right, here we go. Let's see. Oh, yep, this is defense. Here we go. Can you describe your gait as you walk? Are you a brisk walker or are you a stroller? I am quite a slow walker. Is that because with age, walking has become more difficult? Yes, it is slightly more difficult because of my age. I'm not flitting around like I used to, as fast as I used to. I used to be very active. Is there an island or median in Highland Avenue at Mountain View? To the north beyond Highland Avenue on Mountain View, yes, there is an island. On Highland Avenue, then, there are just what? There is none on Highland. Just 4 lanes of traffic? Yes. Do you recall which lane of traffic you were in at the time you were hit? No, I don't. All I can recall is I must have been possibly halfway across. Somewhere out in the middle? Yes. Do you know how long the light on Highland Avenue stays green before it turns to yellow again? No, the only thing I know is that I chose the pedestrian zone. I did because the light stays on longer green going that way than it does when you cross Highland Avenue. In other words, the through traffic on Highland Avenue gets the benefit of the doubt with the lights. This I have noticed, but I have no idea what the length of time is. Okay, were you crossing Mountain View at the time of the injury or at the time you were struck? Yes. Did you have to cross the island that you've described for me? No. That's on the opposite side of Highland. That starts just a little ways beyond Highland Avenue to the north. It does not have anything to do with the intersection. However, the island makes the 2 lanes. Then, when you get beyond Highland, just a short distance, it has nothing to do with the intersection though. Do you have a pretty good concept of north, south, east, and west at the intersection? Yes. What direction were you walking as you were walking toward the thrift industry store? I was walking east. Did you actually see the truck that struck you before it struck you? No, I did not. Do you know where it came from? I haven't the slightest recollection. All I know is it was looming up and I threw my hands up to protect my face, and I hit the hood of the car, and it threw me over backwards. So you don't know whether he was on Mountain View or Highland, correct? Well, he was on Mountain View when he hit me, but I don't know where he came from, to be specific. Do you have any idea whether he was going straight at the time or turning at the time, or any information about that? I really couldn't say. Was this a clear, sunny day? Yes, very. It was almost hot. Was there any other vehicles around at the time you were crossing the street? Very little traffic. And yet, to your recollection, you didn't see this truck at all until it's, oh my goodness, it's going to hit me? That's right. Do you recall what portion of the truck your hands and body came into contact with? The hood of the car. My hands hit the hood of the car. It was coming at me straight on, head on. Was it the front of the hood, or was it the side of the hood? The middle, the top, where the hood ornament would be on a car, if there was one? Yes. And the truck knocked you over to the rear, correct? Yes, the impact threw me over backwards. And I am certain you hit your back and your head on the ground, correct? Yes, on the pavement. Can you tell me how long you were on the pavement before someone came to your aid? I haven't any idea. I don't think it was very long. Someone picked me up and took me on the opposite side of the street and sat me on the curb and wanted to know if I was all right. Do you know who that was? No, I don't. Did you talk to anybody there at the scene? I wasn't in any condition to talk. Wait until he completely asks his question, because he could change it prior to you may be anticipating incorrectly. Plus, it is difficult for the court reporter to take down two people speaking at once. And again, well, I was hit and run over by a car as a child, so I empathize, oh my goodness, with this occurrence and that sort of thing. I have a lot of empathy for people who get hit by cars because that happened to me as a child. Can we go off the record for a second? Sure, let's go off the record. Back on the record. Now, you said someone picked you up and took you to the curb. And all I'm asking is, do you remember talking to anyone at the scene? The first thing I remembered is someone asking me if I was all right. And I said, no, my right shoulder and my left hip hurts, and I can't move my leg and my head. And I reached back to my head and brought my hand back, and I saw a lot of blood. By that time, the ambulance was there, and that's all. Did you ever talk to the driver of the truck that you know of? No. Do you know who the driver of the truck was? No. I mean, if the man walked in here today amongst 4 or 5 people in here, would you know him? No, I wouldn't. Or her? No. You've told us that you were treated at the county hospital. You were released with your son. You then were treated by a chiropractor named Dr. Sackett, correct? Yes. You treated with Dr. Sackett for approximately 1 month until somebody else took over his business, correct? Yeah. Did you then go to some other chiropractor? No, I did not. Did you go to some other medical doctor? No, I didn't. Well, I went to the county facility for my blood pressure tests every 2 months. But did you go to anybody else for your shoulder, your neck, your back? I asked to be referred by Dr. Evans, who I don't have anymore. They have a Dr. Whitehurst with me now. They referred me to a neurologist, and he referred me to one there. And then they would not take the case because they do not get mixed up in lawsuits. I was told that adamantly. They will continue to treat me for blood pressure, but they will not get mixed up in this lawsuit. So after the first, let's say, month and a half after the accident, how long was it before you were seen by a doctor in connection with your head, your neck, and your shoulder? Not until a month or so ago when I went to Dr. Rose, meaning September of 2012. Possibly it could have been earlier though, because I remember it was quite hot when I went over there. How do you get to Dr. Rose's office? Does somebody drive you? My brother has to take me. Now, you've been in the Inland Valley for a long time. Can you describe for me the roads that you go on to get to Dr. Rose's office? We go mostly on the freeway, and then when we get off the freeway, I don't know the street. It's a former main boulevard, I think, or something. We go a few blocks on that and turn right. It's an industrial area. That's all I know. Do you think it's out near Arlington, or is it over near San Bernardino? No, it's this side of Riverside. I'd say it's up in possibly the northeast part of Riverside. Could it be off maybe Spruce Street? Yes. Or Iowa, one of those? Yes. Has Dr. Rose prescribed any medication for you? No. Other than the blood pressure medication, do you take any medication of any kind? No. And here I'm including non-prescription. Do you take aspirin or Tylenol? No. Any pain medication of any kind? No. Wow, that's probably smart. I try to avoid as much medication as I possibly can. I'm not Christian Science either, but I just try to avoid it. I'm a doctor's son, and I try to avoid it too. Use what God gave you. When is your next appointment to see Dr. Rose? December the 4th. Has Dr. Rose indicated to you what his plan for your care is? Yes, he wants me to see an internist, which is coming up November the 11th at 1:30. After that, I have another consultation with Dr. Rose, December the 4th. They've taken blood tests too. I forgot. The last time I was over there, they took blood tests. And when I go back to the county hospital a week before this time, I have to have a cholesterol level test and blood pressure or blood test. Has anyone ever diagnosed you as having arthritis? Yes. Who? Through the years, I really can't tell. Dr. Fenton, possibly, who is deceased now. Dr. Melvin Fenton. The reason I ask is I notice in your hands the signs of arthritis. Is that correct? Yes. Did Dr. Fenton indicate to you what type of arthritis you had? Did he say you have rheumatoid arthritis, or they haven't decided yet what type, as far as I know? Is that part of what the blood test is for? I believe so. I don't know. They don't really tell you until you go for consultation, which I haven't had. Do you have any problems in your feet from arthritis? No, not especially. With your ankles or knees? No, just mainly your upper extremities. mainly my hands, and that doesn't bother me too much. I still have a good grip and everything, but I refuse to let anything like that detour me. I just keep exercising. Other than Dr. Fenton, have you been told by any other medical doctor that you have arthritis? Other than Dr. Fenton? Yes, ma'am. There is a possibility that Dr. Gordman in San Fernando Valley suggested it one time when I was living there. Do you know what city Dr. Gordman's office is in? At that time, it was on Ventura Boulevard. I don't recall the number. Do you know his first name or initial? It's Adrian. Thank you, ma'am. I don't believe I have any further questions. Okay, I have no questions. May we stipulate to relieve the court reporter of her duties under the code that the original transcript will be sent to counsel for Mrs. Watts, that she will be given the opportunity to review it, make any changes or corrections, and that she will then sign it under penalty of perjury, that the original will then be sent back to my office for safekeeping, and that unless the above is complied with, a certified copy may be used for all purposes. Do you want to keep the original? Well, rather than you have to notify me of the changes for your own client, that's normally what I do. I would, just to clarify, because I normally don't do it this way, but that's fine. They will send the original to me. I will send it to my client. At this point, my client will send it back to me. Then I'll see it and send it off to you. That's fine. And what did we say about a copy being used? A certified copy may be used for all purposes. So stipulated. All right, I just went ahead because I knew we were getting close to the end of this. So I read most of this at 160. Okay, so if it was a little challenging, it's okay because that was at 160. Yeah, I'm sure your hands are like, ah. Okay, so we're going to do just one page of read back. Okay, and if you don't want to read back, you don't have to, but you can just, if you want, just look at your notes and see how you did. Okay, all right. This is going to be plaintiff questioning. This is a continuation from what I read earlier about the trash collection, like, you know, did you work with this person? And so, all right, so first time at 160. Here we go. You never have. Is that correct? Never have. All right. Do you have a friend that does meet with Mr. King on a social basis? Well, I am a supervisor and I know a lot of people. I don't know who they meet on a social basis. But do you know of anyone in particular? Can you give me the name of anyone that you know that meets with Mr. King on a social basis? No. You were not Mr. King's supervisor on the date of this accident, were you? No. Did you ever talk with Joe King at any time after the accident about the accident? I asked him about the accident, sure. Okay, do you remember the first time you asked him about the accident? The next time I saw him, I suppose, I guess it was as soon as he got to the yard. Would that be on the day of the accident? Yes. You said you asked him about it. Is that right? Yes. What do you mean by that? What did you ask him specifically? I wanted to know what did happen, you know. You did not personally see the accident? I saw the accident. You did see the accident. I knew it was an accident. You knew it was an accident? Right. Did you actually see the two vehicles involved in this accident collide? Yes, I did. How many times have you discussed this accident with Mr. King? Once. All right, so let's do it again at 140. Here we go. You never have, is that correct? Never have. All right, do you have a friend that does meet with Mr. King on a social basis? Well, I am a supervisor and I know a lot of people. I don't know who they meet on a social basis. But do you know of anyone in particular? Can you give me the name of anyone that you know that meets with Mr. King on a social basis? No. You were not Mr. King's supervisor on the date of this accident, were you? No. Did you ever talk with Joe King at any time after the accident about the accident? I asked him about the accident, sure. Okay, do you remember the first time you asked him about the accident? The next time I saw him, I suppose, I guess it was as soon as he got to the yard. Would that be on the day of the accident? Yes. You said you asked him about it. Is that right? Yes. What do you mean by that? What did you ask him specifically? I wanted to know what did happen, you know. You did not personally see the accident? I saw the accident. You did see the accident? I knew it was an accident. You knew it was an accident? Right. Did you actually see the two vehicles involved in this accident collide? Yes, I did. How many times have you discussed this accident with Mr. King? Once. All right, last time at 120. Here we go. You never have. Is that correct? Never have. All right. Do you have a friend that does meet with Mr. King on a social basis? Well, I am a supervisor and I know a lot of people. I don't know who they meet on a social basis. But do you know of anyone in particular? Can you give me the name of anyone that you know that meets with Mr. King on a social basis? No. You were not Mr. King's supervisor on the date of this accident, were you? No. Did you ever talk with Joe King at any time after the accident about the accident? I asked him about the accident, sure. Okay. Do you remember the first time you asked him about the accident? The next time I saw him, I suppose, I guess it was as soon as he got to the yard. Would that be on the day of the accident? Yes. You said you asked him about it. Is that right? Yes. What do you mean by that? What did you ask him specifically? I wanted to know what did happen, you know. You did not personally see the accident? I saw the accident. You did see the accident? I knew it was an accident. You knew it was an accident? Right. Did you actually see the two vehicles involved in this accident collide? Yes, I did. How many times have you discussed this accident with Mr. King? Once. All right. So let me know when you guys find your spot.
I'm ready whenever.
Okay.
I'm ready too.
All right.
Oh, shoot. Hang on.
Okay, no worries.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, what am I doing? I can read it from my machine again. I forgot. Oh, shoot. But I forgot to mark it. Darn it.
That's okay.
Okay. That's all right. I'll just read from Case Cat.
Okay.
Go ahead, Catherine.
Are you going to read too, Jill, or just
Yeah,
me and
I can read too.
Pandora?
Do you want to take the first one, Pandora, or do you want me to?
Sure. No,
Okay.
I can.
Okay.
Okay, so just one question and answer
Sure.
at a time? Okay. So question, you never have. Is that correct? Answer, never have.
Awesome. And then I'll go. Question, all right. Do you have a friend that does meet with Mr. King on a social basis? Answer, well, I am a supervisor and I know a lot of people. I don't know who they meet on a social basis.
Question, but do you know of anyone in particular? Can you give me the name of anyone that you know that meets with Mr. King on a social basis? Answer, no.
Question, you were not Mr. King's supervisor. Something on the date.
Nope, that's it. Yeah, on the date.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. On the date of the accident, were you? Answer, no.
Awesome. Question, did you ever talk with Joe King at any time after the accident about the accident? Answer, I asked him about the accident, sure.
Question, okay, do you remember the first time you asked him about the accident? Answer, the next time I saw him, I suppose. I guess it was as soon as he got to the yard.
Question, would that be on the day of the accident? Answer, yes.
Question, you said you asked him about it. Is that right? Answer, yes.
Question, what do you mean by that? What did you ask him specifically? Answer, I wanted to know what did happen, you know.
Question, you didn't personally see the accident. Oh, wait a minute. You did not personally see the accident. Answer, I saw the accident.
Question, you did see the accident? Answer, I knew it was an accident.
Question, you knew it was an accident? Answer, right.
Question, did you actually see the two vehicles collide in this accident?
Oh, wait, do you have involved?
Sorry, involved in this accident collide? Answer, yes, I did.
Question, how many times have you discussed this accident with Mr. King? Answer, once. Okay, Pandora, you just read back the Midsfeeds read back. See?
Yay!
I know, you don't give yourself
Yay.
enough credit.
It was my hands are sweating.
That's okay, see? Pandora,
So, and
Catherine is a perfectionist.
I am.
Like we all are, but
I am, yeah. I mean, so anyway.
A lot of times she doesn't come to the Midsfeeds because she's like, I'm not ready. I said, yes, you're so.
No, it isn't that. You know what? I've got to tell you that when we were coming home, you know, I mean, when my husband got in the car, Catherine, we have one car. So I pick up my husband. I don't know where you are. I'm in Menifee and he works in Temecula. But so, and we had Bilbo with us. He's been going with us each time. That's our bird, as you probably know by now. But I forgot all about it. And I said, oh, you know what? Kelsey's not coming right home after work, so I'll start making dinner as soon as we get home, right? And then we were driving into our neighborhood, and I said, oh, no, you're going to have to munch because I have a class at 5 o'clock. So a lot of times I forget.
Okay,
So,
I'll send you a text.
or a lot of times when I am in class and I get to the Q&A, I get very frustrated. But I don't know, I was just focused today, just focused.
There you
So,
go.
yeah.
Yes, you can. I mean, I knew that. I knew you were ready for that. And just reading back with no errors, it just goes to show,
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I want my notes to be perfect, and they're not perfect,
They're, what is because Catherine's aunt is a court reporter. Does she say that her notes are ever perfect?
No, I read her notes. They're never perfect.
Oh, Pandora, she's her aunt's scopist.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so I see all her notes. You'll never be perfect, Pandora. Just get over it now.
I can't help it. Well, and it's funny because Nora just sent me like a screenshot of her notes and saying, see, mine aren't like that. So, okay. Well, I don't feel so bad then, but just keep telling me that.
As long as you can read them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I do. I need to read it more.
And no one here is judging, that's for sure.
That's right.
Oh, man, I wish I could come tomorrow morning, but I can't.
You work tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Well, just watch the recorded class.
I know, but
let me know how it goes.
Okay. Tell Robert to hurry and get the recorded class up. So
okay.
I could go back to other ones. Hurry up, Robert. Oh, there's my son. There's Adam. Sorry.
Oh.
You scared them.
Oh.
Bring Bilbo over here real quick. Here, Catherine,
funny.
you need to see Bilbo. Adam will bring him over here. So.
Well, that was funny, Pandora. We didn't even see him, and he came
right behind. Oh, I knew he was over off to my right. He could tell that class is just about over here. So.
So funny.
But oh my gosh, you should have heard Bilbo in the car because he was just
car ride?
chattering away, and he's winding down now. He gets tired around this time. So. Come here, you stinky bird. Come here. Step up.
So, Catherine, he's blind in one eye and he's missing one of his wings. So
there's his good wing. And then he just has a stump over here, but he's blind.
And he was born that way, right, Pandora?
No, his we're told that his mother did it.
Guy. That's horrible.
There's one that I haven't heard in a long time. Guy. Oh my gosh, I haven't heard that in so long, but yeah, he's a good bird. He's a silly bird. What a silly bird you are.
He's so sweet.
Yeah, it's so funny though because he'll, when he bites, Adam will say, stop it, and now he goes, stop.
He knows how to say that now?
Oh yeah, and he'll say, don't bite, and he'll say, I love you. He said, I love you a bunch of times today. Are you cold? Is that breeze cold on you? He's going, put me back in my cage. I want to go in my cage.
Adam, if you ever get tired of him, I'll take him.
You know what? Now talk. Oops. Hang on. There we go. I had my headphones in.
I said, Adam, if you ever get tired of him, I'll take him.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I know.
So
sweet.
He's really come a long way. We haven't even had him, or Adam hasn't even had him for a year yet.
Oh wow!
Pretty much.
Almost a year. It was like May or June that you.
Also,
just pooped on the desk. So.
Oh yeah, of course.
He's fine.
Of course.
Better the desk than me.
That's right.
Or my machine.
That's right.
Can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
So Catherine, Pandora let Nora borrow her machine while she was, looking into getting a new one. So she got a new one. So then Pandora got her machine back.
Yeah. But I forgot that I can mark.
Yeah.
What kind of machine do you have, Pandora?
It's a student wave.
Oh, that's right. I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. Yeah, but well, okay, you joined Sage right before I did. What was your starter machine? Was it a Genesis Infinity?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, so when I lent this one to Nora, I went on that machine again. And you couldn't read back your notes or anything. Is that what you still have?
Oh no, I bought my professional machine at the convention over the summer.
Oh, that's right.
Last summer.
That's
But
right.
it's sitting in my it's in storage. It'll probably stay in storage for a while.
That grand machine, that grand infinity. Ugh.
Hey, you know what? It got the job done. I mean, I was able to use it while Nora had my wave, but once you have this, and then she let me do the key. She got, oh, well, you know what she got, Catherine. I can't remember the name, but yeah, but she let me. Adam goes, the Steno Master 9000. Oh my gosh, no, I don't think so. But yeah, she let me kind of play with it, and it's like, ooh, that's nice.
Oh, I bet. So, what color is her machine, her new one?
I think it's white. I only saw it once.
Okay.
So wouldn't that be awesome if they started to do that, like KitchenAid mixers? All the different colors that they have.
They do have colors out there. I heard they have pink.
Yeah. Or some people just put like skins on theirs. Like you can put a skin on your machine if you want to make it look fancy.
Yeah.
They were giving away a pink Luminex at the convention. It was pink for breast cancer awareness.
One of these days I'll get to the convention.
Yeah.
It's at New Orleans this year.
Oh, I won't be going this year.
Catherine's in Tennessee. So are you going to New Orleans,
okay.
Catherine?
Probably. I haven't made plans, but
is that what, like a 12-hour drive, or I'm guessing?
I've never driven it. I've been there. I've flown there, and it's like an hour flight. So it's probably like an 8-hour drive.
Mm-mm.
Or maybe it was an hour and a half drive. It's not. People drive it from here. You can also take a train. I think that would be fun.
Oh yeah.
Take a train from here.
Yeah.
My husband's cousin lives in Tennessee now. Is it Franklin? Is there a Franklin?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Franklin's nice. I love Franklin. Yeah. Franklin, Tennessee is beautiful. That's where all the stars live.
Yeah, well, that sounds about right. Yep, Franklin, Tennessee. Oh, yeah. Well, they used to live out here in California, but then they moved over there. But yeah, they used to live here in Coto de Caza, which is, Jill, that's kind of out by Orange County. It's very foo-foo-y, and they had a nice house. And I mean,
yeah, I've heard of that place. Yeah.
Huge closet. She must have had like 30 pairs of jeans in there. It's like, are you kidding me? I have one that doesn't have holes in the thighs, where it rubs together. I have one good pair of jeans and all the rest. And I wear them and I'm thinking, okay, nobody can see the holes from the back in this one,
Yeah.
So if I go out to the grocery store or something, because I don't want to wear my decent jeans,
Yeah, exactly. And here this lady's got 30 in her closet.
Yeah, well, that's his cousin. She's very sweet. And actually, Jill, if you want to, I pray for your sister-in-law. Her husband has, he's had it for years now. He has, is it prostate cancer? He's younger than we are, I think, a little bit. And boy, is his faith strong. Oh, you should see some of the things that he puts on Facebook as far as his faith is concerned, and he doesn't feel sorry for himself at all. And I mean, just recently he's starting to kind of, I guess the doctor told them, you should get your affairs in order. And they have 16, are they 16-year-old twins, I think, and but he's nothing but positive.
That's good.
So, yeah.
Good. Miracles happen all the time.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. So, Yeah, but I'll have to send you some of the things that he's said on
Yeah.
Facebook, just all the different. I guess originally he was gonna be a pastor, and so yeah. Anyway.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I would like to see that. You have to send it to me.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I will.
I'll pass it on to her.
I wonder if I can get that. Anyway, I should go make dinner, and I've been, as usual, dominating the conversation.
No.
Like I do
No.
often.
It's
Yes,
nice.
I do.
It was fun talking to you guys.
Yeah, you too. It's finally nice to officially meet you, Catherine.
Yes, nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
I recognize your name. I saw you maybe on the Sage Facebook page.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen your name.
Yep.
You don't forget
Yeah,
your name.
I'm probably one of the only ones out there. Okay, just to let you know, Adam's right here again, so he's probably going to pop in and freak you guys out.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know how to do this. Stop it. Did you see what he did?
Yes,
This is what I have to deal with.
Yes.
Anyway.
Boys.
Oh
My
God.
son's
Right?
the same way.
Right?
Yes.
So, okay.
Either me or sister, so.
Well,
Have
y'all have a good night. I won't be in class in the morning because I have Meals on Wheels, but I will be in the evening class.
Okay, that sounds great. You guys have a wonderful day tomorrow.
Is that the high speeds class?
Tomorrow night is high speed. So tomorrow morning will be mid.
I can't do that.
That's okay.
I can't do that.
Just watch the recorded tomorrow, watch the mid speeds class once you get off work.
Okay.
Keep it up.
Okay.
All right.
All right, I'm going to save this.
Guys.
All right. Talk to you later.
Okay, talk
Bye.
to you soon.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.